Hey everyone, welcome back to City Wonders. Today we're diving into the vibrant streets of Havana, Cuba. This city is like stepping back in time with its vintage cars, colorful buildings, and infectious energy. From the moment I stepped off the plane, I knew Havana was going to be an adventure. The air was thick with the smell of cigar smoke and the sound of salsa music. I couldn't wait to get lost in the maze of cobblestone streets and soak up all the culture this city has to offer. If you love exploring new places, make sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell for more amazing travel content. Let's go! Alright, let's talk about Old Havana. This place is like a time capsule. Seriously, it's like someone hit pause on the 1950s and just let it be. We're talking cobblestone streets, buildings painted in these faded pastel colors that just pop in the sunlight, and balconies overflowing with flowers. It's crazy beautiful. You can feel the history here, you know? Like every building, every street corner has a story to tell. You can practically hear the echoes of laughter and music from decades past. It's kind of haunting, but in a good way. And the people, everyone here is so full of life. They greet you with a smile and you can just feel the warmth in their eyes. It's infectious, this energy, and it just sucks you in. One of the coolest things about Old Havana is just wandering around getting lost in the maze of streets. You never know what you're gonna find around the next corner. Maybe it's a hidden courtyard with a fountain or a group of musicians jamming out on a street corner. And speaking of music, it's everywhere in Old Havana. Salsa, rumba, sun. It's like a constant soundtrack to your day. And the best part is you don't even have to go looking for it, it just finds you. There's this one street, Calle Obispo, that's always bustling with activity. Street vendors selling their wares, artists displaying their paintings, musicians playing their hearts out. It's a sensory overload in the best possible way. And the smells, oh man, the smells. From the street food vendors grilling up delicious snacks to the aroma of Cuban coffee wafting out of cafes, it's enough to make your mouth water. So if you ever find yourself in Havana, do yourself a favor and spend some time getting lost in Old Havana. Trust me, you won't regret it. Okay, you can't come to Havana and not talk about the cars. I'm talking about those classic American cars from the 50s, the ones you only see in movies, cruising down the Malecon. It's like stepping onto a movie set, but it's real life. These cars are everywhere in Havana, and they're not just for show. People actually drive them every day. Can you imagine cruising to work in a vintage Chevy Bel Air? That's the reality here. And the crazy thing is, these cars are in amazing condition. I'm talking about gleaming chrome, pristine paint jobs, the works. It's clear that the owners take a lot of pride in their cars, and it shows. Now I know what you're thinking, these cars must be expensive to maintain. And you're right, they are. But for the people of Havana, these cars are more than just a mode of transportation. They're a symbol of their history, their culture, their resilience. Think about it. These cars have been on the road for over half a century, surviving revolution, economic hardship, everything. They're a testament to the ingenuity and resourcefulness of the Cuban people. Of course, no trip to Havana is complete without taking a ride in one of these beauties, so I hailed a classic convertible, and let me tell you, it was an experience I'll never forget. The wind in my hair, the sun on my face, the sound of the engine rumbling beneath me, it was pure exhilaration. We cruised along the Malecon, the ocean on one side and the city on the other. It was like being in a time warp, except with better music. So, if you're ever in Havana, do yourself a favor and take a ride in a classic car. It's an experience you won't soon forget. Alright, let's talk about the Malecon. This place is more than just a street. It's like the soul of Havana. This seawall stretches for miles along the coast, connecting the city to the ocean. Imagine this, you've got the turquoise waters of the Caribbean Sea crashing against the seawall on one side, and on the other, you've got these crumbling majestic buildings painted in every color imaginable. It's a photographer's dream for real, but the Malecon is more than just a pretty face. It's a gathering place for locals and tourists alike. During the day, you'll find families strolling along the seawall, fishermen casting their lines, and kids splashing around in the water. As the sun starts to set, the Malecon transforms into this magical, vibrant place. People come out in droves to watch the sunset, listen to music, and just hang out with friends and family. There's something about watching the sun dip below the horizon, painting the sky in these crazy colors that just makes you feel alive. And when you're experiencing it on the Malecon, surrounded by the energy of Havana, it's even more special. One of my favorite things about the Malecon is that it's a place where you can just be yourself. There's no judgment, no pretense, just pure, unadulterated Havana vibes. You can sit on the seawall for hours watching the world go by and no one will bat an eye. Or you can strike up a conversation with a local and hear their stories. So, make sure you add it to your Havana itinerary. Trust me, you won't regret it. Let's be real, you can't talk about Havana without talking about the music. It's everywhere, pulsing through the streets like a heartbeat. From the moment you arrive, you're enveloped in this symphony of sound, and it's impossible not to move your feet. Salsa, rumba, sun, jazz. Havana is a melting pot of musical genres, and it's electrifying. Every street corner feels like a potential stage, and every doorway could lead you to a hidden gem of a music venue. One night I stumbled upon this tiny little bar tucked away in a side alley. It wasn't much to look at from the outside, but the music spilling out of the open doorway was impossible to resist. Inside, the place was packed with locals, all squeezed in together, dancing and singing along to the band. The energy was contagious, and I couldn't help but join in. The musicians were incredible, their fingers flying across their instruments with such passion and precision. It was like they were channeling the soul of Havana through their music, and everyone in the room was swept away by it. But it's not just about the professional musicians in Havana. Music is so deeply ingrained in the culture that you'll find people playing on street corners, in parks, even in their homes. One afternoon, I was walking through Old Havana when I heard the sound of a piano coming from an open window. I peeked inside, and there, in a dimly lit room, was an old man playing the most beautiful melody. So, if you're looking for an authentic musical experience, Havana is the place to be. Don't be afraid to wander off the beaten path, follow your ears, and let the music be your guide. Alright, let's talk about the food, because no travel experience is complete without indulging in the local cuisine. And trust me, Havana does not disappoint. From street food to sit-down restaurants, this city knows how to tantalize your taste buds. Now, I'm a firm believer in trying everything at least once, so I made it my mission to sample as much Cuban food as I could. And let me tell you, my taste buds were thanking me. First up, we gotta talk about the Cuban sandwich. This is not your average sandwich, people. This is a masterpiece of flavor, a symphony of textures, a culinary revelation. Imagine this: slow-roasted pork, thinly sliced ham, Swiss cheese, tangy pickles and mustard, all piled high on crusty Cuban bread and then pressed to perfection. One bite, and you'll understand why this sandwich is a Cuban icon. I had mine at this little hole-in-the-wall place in Old Havana, and it was honestly one of the best sandwiches I've ever had in my life. The bread was perfectly crispy, the pork was juicy and flavorful, and the combination of cheese, pickles, and mustard was just. But the Cuban sandwich is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Havana's culinary delights. You've got ropa vieja, a flavorful shredded beef dish cooked in a tomato-based sauce, and arroz congri, a rice and beans dish that's a staple of Cuban cuisine. And then there's the street food. Oh man, the street food. From crispy empanadas filled with savory meats and cheeses to sweet and creamy churros, there's something to satisfy every craving. But beyond the specific dishes, what really struck me about the food in Havana was the love and care that went into every bite. And that's what makes the food in Havana so special. It's not just about sustenance, it's about tradition, it's about family, it's about sharing a piece of Cuban culture with every bite. Thanks for joining me on this adventure through Havana. From the vibrant streets of Old Havana to the cruising in classic cars along the Malecon, this city has left an unforgettable mark on my soul. Remember to embrace the unexpected, get lost in the rhythm of the music, and savor every bite of the delicious food. Havana is a city that will stay with you long after you've said goodbye. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more city wonders. See you in the next city.